What's going on, guys, and welcome back to your stimulus package update and daily news report. I just want to wish you all a happy Thanksgiving. Hopefully you guys have a great day and have a great weekend as well. Now, here's what I want to get into. I want to talk about where the White House stands regarding inflation. We're going to talk about schooling. We're going to dive into a little bit of the stimulus package, explain where things are going and the direction we are going to take. So that's what we're going to discuss today. But like always, if you enjoy these daily uploads, do me a favor, go ahead, hit that like button. Also consider subscribing. But let's get into it. The White House economic advisors have been saying for about 4 months that inflation is not permanent. It's just going to be transitory. However, economists argue that inflation will last longer than most people think, that it's not going to just be a couple of months. It could potentially be to the end of this year. But according to reports, the Biden administration can't afford to agree with the fact that, yes, we are seeing additional inflation. They say, and according to reports, Democrats must keep pushing the idea that the Build Back Better Act is actually going to not cause more inflation. It's going to make things cheaper. We're going to see deflation. Well, what I can tell you right now, if things do not get better, the American people are going to suffer even more, and the American people will not vote for Democrats in the upcoming midterm elections. If it were to get out that the White House believes that we will see additional inflation over the next year, first off, moderates would most likely block any potential chance that the Build Back Better Act would pass. So, the expectation is, moving forward, the White House is not going to come out and say, yes, we're seeing inflation. Yes, things are going to go up. That's just the nature of this. They're not going to say that, because if they do, the expectation is moderates would say, nope, not going to support that bill. And that's probably what's going to happen at this point. But experts say that inflation will continue until the end of 2022, if not a little bit longer, because of two main factors. Let me address these. First, Americans have so much pent-up demands, on things like they haven't purchased certain products for their home or their business or their office, or they want a new vehicle. They want to go on vacations, right? So this is the first thing. This isn't going to change. We're going to see additional inflation because Americans have a lot of money sitting on the sideline. There's a lot of money, a lot of cash just sitting there doing nothing. So Americans who want to go on vacation, who want to go buy a new TV, a new computer, a new car, they will eventually do that, which is going to cause prices to go up even further. Here's the second problem. Manufacturers, during the whole pandemic, many of them moved away from their core products and their core business. They moved away from that in order to make pandemic-related products, masks, safety devices, right? Just a bunch of different things. So that was one of the issues with manufacturing. The other issue is that right now they have supply chain issues. They have many disruptions. So what they are saying is that because of the worker shortages, the supply chain issues, and just the manufacturing process alone, those three things are going to cause even more delays. And as we see more delays, we are going to see additional inflation. Again, pent-up demand, but supply is still low. The demand keeps on increasing. The supply is having a tough time keeping up with that. So you see in it stretch. That's a problem. So, according to reports, if we do see deflation, it's probably not going to come until the end of 2022, possibly in 2023. So, expect to pay more for whatever you have. Currently, about 77% of Americans are saying that inflation is personally affecting them, and about 57% of Americans say they have President Biden to blame for all of this. Now, this is part of the problem, okay? But I'm going to read you a statement from Nancy Pelosi in just a second, because Democrats are doing all they can right now to try to ensure that the American people do not blame them for what is going on. And Nancy Pelosi, she's doing what she can to try to keep donors on Democrats' side. Well, just the other day, Nancy Pelosi sent out a letter to donors and grassroots supporters, and this is what it said. Let me read it to you. It says, and I quote, "Dear friends, Last week, House Democrats achieved an historic victory honoring the vision of President Biden and addressing the needs of the American people. We passed the transformative Build Back Better Act. This was just in the House. The success would not have been possible without a courageous and democratic majority and the support of our VIPs, our volunteers in politics, who make it all happen. In the Thanksgiving season, I write to express my personal appreciation and that of the House Democrats to you for our great support. Informed by the intellectual resource that you are and the candor of your friendship, we are strategically poised to hold the House. Interesting. As redistricting continues and our candidates emerge, we are preparing for victory 1 year out. Thank you for making that possible. Happy Thanksgiving, Nancy. That was the letter that she sent. Okay? Here's what I take out of this. First off, she is saying that they are strategically poised to hold the House. Most reports say that no, Democrats are going to lose the majority in the House and the Senate. Yes, redistricting is still going on. Some Democratic candidates are emerging, yes. But just understand, to already call this a victory a year out, I don't know if they can do that. I don't think they're passing enough stuff to do that. And this Build Back Better Act, many Americans do not support it. They don't support it because it's going to cause more inflation and it doesn't provide the benefits that the American people are looking for. And according to the Biden administration, yes, it's going to bring costs down. It's going to bring costs down on child care, a little bit with medication. Some of these things do not actually start in 2022, though. They actually would start after the election. So this is the problem, is that the American people are being told that, yes, prices are going to come down, and they will. And this is what I want to keep you updated on, is that right now, especially for, let's say, Medicare Part D and having that $2,000 cap, that doesn't start this year. That doesn't start until 2022. So, yes, things are going to, or 2024, so yes, things are going to be cheaper, but not this year. So that's a problem. That's a big problem. But that's not all that the Biden administration is doing. The Biden administration is trying to do more as well. Yesterday, the Biden administration approved plans that would provide a major offshore wind farm to supply power to New York. This would provide about 12 turbines somewhere near Rhode Island. And according to what we are hearing is that the White House has a goal to have 100% carbon-free power by 2035. And this would be a major stepping stone for them to do that. Now, according to the Interior Department, they say that this project is going to create about 340 new jobs, and it would provide enough power to roughly 70,000 homes. It's pretty big. And even though that they have approved these plans, they still, right now the White House is still having to overcome concerns from conservatives that are worried about endangered animals, right? But this is also the problem. Even though the plans have been approved, what hasn't been approved is the $300 billion for climate that's actually in the upcoming $1.75 trillion human infrastructure bill. And some say that there is some of that money is likely to be pulled out. It's likely to be pulled out because there are some, like Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema, that would like to see this bill actually decrease in size. So we'll see if that actually happens. Something else that the White House is doing, according to reports just yesterday, sometime this coming week, we could actually see the Biden administration say that they are going to reinstate the Remain in Mexico Trump policy. Remember, this was something that they actually stopped. This was something that they blocked. They rescinded this, I think back in like June or July. But then in August, one of the lower courts ruling says that no, they couldn't do this. And the Supreme Court just recently, they upheld the lower court's ruling. So, if you don't know what the Remain in Mexico policy is, it simply means anybody that comes into the United States seeking asylum, they could have, without this, they could stay in the United States, which has been going on. But According to reports, there's a lot of issues with that because people are just coming in. There's many people trying to flood the borders, seeking asylum, which then get to stay here inside the United States. But what they're trying to do, and the Biden administration is still working with the Mexican government on this, is try to get Mexico to accept these people back into their country. So, whether this happens or not, we don't know. We haven't heard from the Mexican government yet, but the expectation is it would probably happen sometime next week. So, we'll see what happens there. This was one of the things that President Biden wanted to do, is get rid of this, former President Donald Trump's Remain in Mexico policy, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen. So people will be sent back to Mexico, and those are asylum seekers. Keep that in mind. Okay, this isn't illegal immigrants. Okay, this isn't people going through have a permanent residency card or anything like that. This is just asylum seekers. Will have to go back to Mexico, remain in Mexico until the courts actually process their claim. So that could take a little while, but that is what we're hearing. Now, here's something else I want to address, and this is something that I've been looking into for a while. I want to talk about why the Biden administration is trying to propose so much legislation for children. And I know a lot of people ask that. Why are we trying to give handouts to families? And that's not the goal. Okay? And I'm not trying to bash the Biden administration. I'm not trying to support them. I'm trying to stay right in the middle, but here's the reason why. And this isn't just from the Biden administration, this is from Republicans as well. Is we have to stay competitive with countries like China and Germany. But how do we do that? One of the ways we can do that is to provide more schooling, to provide higher education, right? These are things that we need, right? So, one of the main pieces of legislation that everybody's talking about is the $250 to $300 child tax credit payments. Yes, they are beneficial. They can help out a lot of people. But that's not the big one for the Biden administration. The big one has to do with education. Pre-K, 2 years of preschooling before kindergarten. They are saying that right now it has been proven that more schooling would make the United States more competitive in the future, and it would help us compete with countries like China and Germany. In a recent report, 2 years of pre-K is actually going to cost the American people or families roughly $10,000 per year per child. Now, the reason I bring this up is because reports also indicate that right now there's a lot of inequality here in the United States, because it is apparent that by the age of 3, you will either know, is the child, do they come from money or are they rather poor? Here's the reason why. According to reports, poorer children will most likely be watched by a family member or somebody else, where rich children would go to school at 3 and 4 years old. They would go to a formal school. So, while poorer children spend the days with a family member and not learning a single thing, rich children go to school and are actually getting this higher education much earlier. They can go into kindergarten and first grade knowing the alphabet, knowing numbers, knowing math. They could potentially speak another language. They could play a musical instrument. And this is big. This is why rich children are seen as there's a little bit more provided for the rich, because they are the ones, according to reports, that are seen as they are bringing us up. They're boosting us to make us more competitive with countries like, again, China and Germany. So, the Biden administration wants to do everything that they can to ensure a higher education for every single child in the United States. Not just those that are coming from, money, those that do not have any wealth. They want to see every single child gets the exact same opportunities. So, remember, this isn't, yes, this is about the children, provide for the children, provide for families and the American people. Yes, but the main thing, this is about competing with other countries as well. So, that's what we know at this time, but as always, as I know more, I promise I'll come back on, share all the latest news and updates. One thing I just wanted to end this with is happy Thanksgiving. Hopefully you guys are celebrating Thanksgiving with your friends, your families, and your loved ones. I will be spending the day with my family. We will be probably having some turkey, doing some stuff like that. So, maybe some games, watching some sports, usually just the everyday thing that we do. But Again, I just want to say thank you guys for watching, always supporting the channel, always hitting that like button, and commenting down below. Let me know what it is that you want to see, what it is that you have questions on, and I promise I will answer all those questions. So again, thank you guys for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.